are back at the Dell Event Center getting you set for tonight's game between the Saginaw Spirit and the Hamilton Bulldogs. This is Coach's Corner, brought to you by Garber Chevrolet. And I'm joined by assistant coach Jesse Messier. As the Spirit winners now of 3 in a row, coming off of a 5-2 decision against the Kingston Frontenacs. In a game that started off a little slow for both sides, but you saw Saginaw start to take over as the game went on. Your thoughts on last night's win?
Yeah, again, it was a game that we started to build period by period and get better each and every time out there. I think in the first we just weren't connecting on a couple plays. You know, passes were off a couple inches here and there, which kind of stymied our flow in the first. And the guys started getting a rhythm as the game got on. They started to feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, no question about it. We're starting to see some of the highlights, and this is a great individual effort by Bodie Wild that kind of got the scoring started. It's funny you mentioned there were a lot of plays that Saginaw was trying in the first period that were just a hair off, and wouldn't you know it, it's an individual effort like that by Bodie, and really the first 2 goals are kind of fortuitous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, on that first one there that you saw, you know, they were kind of stacking the line, so Bodie just makes a simple play, getting a puck in deep and getting in on that forward check. And then again, the second one he had there is just getting a puck to the net. You get that lucky bounce, and sometimes that's what will get you going.
Damian Giroux, now the captain, has back-to-back 2-goal games. First 40-goal scorer on the roster. Talk about his play as of recently, and really that whole line. Blade Jenkins, DJ Buzdecker, and Damian Giroux.
Yeah, they've had a really good stretch here. There are 3 guys that play really hard when they're out there, especially playing together. And again, G's been getting those bounces, and he's put up back-to-back 3 2-goal games in a row now because he's going to those hard areas. You know, he's a guy that he's not the biggest guy, but he battles at that net front, and he gets rewarded for that work.
Cole Perfetti last night had multiple scoring chances. He hit the post, he hit the crossbar, and wouldn't you know it, he finally does score by, as you mentioned, going to that dirty area.
Yeah, exactly. For those first few in the first couple periods there, it started to reminisce of how things went for him at the early stretch of the year. You know, he couldn't find a way to put one in the net there, but he was getting the chances. And again, a guy like that, if he keeps sticking to it and going to those dirty areas, he's going to get rewarded, and he finally did in the third.
And again, another solid defensive effort. Just 20 shots on goal for Kingston last night, and you get another strong performance in net now back-to-back from Tristan Lennox.
Yeah, I think we had really good team defense yesterday, especially throughout the neutral zone, so they didn't get too many line rushes. And then again, when we did break down, they got the looks. Tristan looked really solid back there and calm.
Here we have the Hamilton Bulldogs, and last night they put up quite a fight in Flint. They got out to a 2-0 lead. Unfortunately for them, they couldn't hang on to it. Flint ends up winning the game, but they had a solid performance. This is a team that has some older pieces and some nice pieces, especially in Kaliev. But they're in the Eastern Conference, and they're hovering right around 500. What are some of the things that makes this team dangerous?
They can put the puck in the net with some of the best teams in the league. So especially that top line of theirs is very lethal. So we're going to have to check them tight and be all over them. And I think if we do, like we talked about in the past, I think our depth will follow through.
Saginaw has scored a ton of goals lately, 6, 10, 6, and then 5 last night. However, they haven't gotten as many power play looks as you would have hoped in any given night. You know, obviously that was one area of concern for the team. I just want to get your thoughts on this. Is not so much of a concern, but is it odd at all that the team hasn't gotten the power play looks, especially since that's something they're trying to focus on?
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Like we were talking about that this morning. Actually, I think we've had like 1.5 power plays in the last 3 games, and it's kind of surprising too, especially because we have so much possession time. You know, you're bound to draw penalties. Like last night, you could see the refs let it go both ways. You know, there could have been a couple there. So it's something that we've been getting a ton of reps in practice. So even though you want to get those live reps in practice, especially seeing things had been trending in the right direction, you know, we're going to want to get those opportunities in these last 10 games to get it right before the playoffs.
No question. Mess, thanks for doing this, and best of luck tonight.
Thanks, Joey.
Jesse Messier is the assistant coach of the Saginaw Spirit. Much more to come with Charlie Porter on Countdown to Face-Off. This is Saginaw Spirit Hockey.